Yep.
Yeah, because I'm real happy with the Meta Quest, and so it almost seems a waste to get extra glasses just for the camera. But anyway, I'm always interested in hearing what folks have to say. So I'm sure there'll be more, discussion on that on the Photo 3D. But thanks for your input.
Yeah, thanks, Jay, and thanks, Herb. I think it's really exciting that we're getting new 3D devices, new screens, new cameras. It's almost as if there's another fad happening. So let's enjoy it.
Hey, folks, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Hi, Melinda.
Sound okay?
Loud and clear.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. We've got a good group of photos that we will enjoy in our stereo slideshow. For those who are new to our meetings, in the chat, I put a list of links of live streams in different 3D formats, and I'll also be sharing my screen with the full width side-by-side photos. There are a few announcements that I want to make before we jump into the meeting. There will be tentatively scheduled for next week a retrospective for Jack Musacco. I've collected over 350 photos that Jack shared with us over the years, and I'm refining it down to the 20 or 30 or so top hits. I'm planning to present this on Zoom, just as we are now. And I'd like to do it next week. And I wanted to take a quick poll, maybe raise your hand or speak up. I can give two options. We could have the retrospective slideshow next Tuesday. We have a normally scheduled meeting then. This slideshow would be instead of our special subject. Or we could do it a couple days later on Thursday, September 12th. That would also be next week. And I know a lot of you would like to be there, and I'd like everyone to be there if possible. Does anyone have any thoughts about a day that might be better or worse for them, Tuesday or Thursday next week?
Is anybody planning on listening to the debate next Tuesday?
Is that on Tuesday?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. We might have a low turnout in that case. How about Thursday? Is anyone out of town or unavailable on Thursday?
Not great for me, but I would do it.
Okay, it would be at 7 to 9. It would be a slideshow. I do plan to post it on YouTube if you miss it, but a lot of people might have something they'd like to share, and I'd like to make it a live event. Okay, let's tentatively plan for the 12th. That's Thursday next week. I'll be sending out an invitation, posting on the Groups IO discussion board, and I'll also be inviting his family and some other friends also who aren't necessarily 3D people, but would definitely be curious about that. Okay, thank you. The last thing that I wanted to share before we enjoy tonight's slideshow, I wanted to remind everyone of some upcoming international stereo exhibitions, and I'll put these dates in the chat. Oh, those are all kind of stuck together, but you'll get the idea. The Chicago Lighthouse closes on the 28th of this month. The Hollywood Stereo Exhibition opens October 1st and closes October 30th. That's the end of the month. And the Cascade International, it closes, Herb, correct me if I'm wrong, the second Monday of November. And is that open now?
It is open.
Okay. So I hope everyone
here... It does close November 11th.
November 11th. Okay. Thank you. I encourage everyone here to participate. It's a great way to have your stereo photography seen, get some expert feedback, and certainly our photography from this group really deserves to be shared. So I hope to
Add Detroit to that list.
and
also.
Detroit. Okay. Thank you. Do you know? I can look this up and get back to everyone. I'm not sure if is that open. Do you know? I'll do some research during the meeting. So it is International Stereo Exhibition season. All right. Gary Meyer, welcome. Gary, we've been trying to get you to these meetings for years now. I am so happy to see you. We have one of your photos, and we have enjoyed your stereo photography before. I know you submitted some maybe a year or two ago that we enjoyed, but we didn't get to share our favorable comments with you. So we've got one from you tonight. Before I start tonight's slideshow, does anyone have anything they would like to announce or share with the group? All right. The YouTube stream is live. If you're following along on the YouTube stream, there's a lag of 10 to 20 seconds. And I will share my screen and we'll enjoy our slideshow. We have a fair-sized group tonight. Normally, I randomize the images in the slideshow, but I felt our group wasn't large enough tonight for that. So instead, I will be putting the contributors under the spotlight, and we'll hear about all of their submissions for the month. Let me share my screen, and we'll get this show started.
Matt, I'm not getting anything on the Lume Pad here except for the welcome screen.
Yeah, we're just starting now.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, you're at the right part. And that said, we will first hear from Jay tonight. Jay has two photographs, stereo photographs to share. The first title is Couple. Jay, tell us when and where this is.
There was this year's Mermaid Parade, shot with a W3 and no fill flash. Just, in between the rain, was able to grab this. And, yep, that's it. Just catching up on the other good mermaid pics.
How is the response to the New York Stereoscopic Association's mermaid photo contest?
Not great. I'm going to do one last round of publicity, trying to reach out directly to people. Learn a lot, but about what doesn't work. So yeah, extended the deadline till a week after, probably September 20th, to just give as much time for people and try to get the word out.
I sent mine, Jay.
I got that, yeah.
Good.
What works here is this guy pointing through the window. That looks great. Is that just completely candid?
Yep, totally candid.
Yeah, great moment.
Yeah.
Just a comment on that.
Mhm.
That thing in the background on the right is a little bit disturbing. If it were possible to clone that out, I think it would improve the photo.
Talk about the man on the right?
No. There's that little archway. I'm not sure what it is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's part of a building.
Yeah, I mean, if it were, it's I don't know that it would necessarily be super easy to do, but if you could clone that out, I think it would improve the photo because it's a little bit disturbing. I don't
Yeah,
think cropping is the answer because I
no.
like the composition.
Adobe Generative Fill should do it.
Yeah,
It's-
adding a little on top, I think would make a very nice
One
framing
answer,
effect.
one solution would be to make it into a column and just remove that overhanging part.
Yeah, I think that would improve the photo, just a comment.
Yeah, thanks, Herb. Something like that, maybe, for those who are following along.
That works.
Yeah. Well, that one won't work. All right. Let me restore that. Thank you, Jay. We've got another, I think it's from the Mermaid Parade.
Same thing, yep.
And the title is, I think it's Photographer, something like that.
Yeah, I was shooting more pictures of photographers this year.
Another, I think it's from the Mermaid Parade.
Same thing, yep.
And the title, we're getting an echo. If someone has the volume on their device, if you could mute it or turn it
was shooting
down.
more pictures of photographers this year.
Another, I think it's from the Mermaid Parade.
Same thing, yep.
All right, I think I've muted that.
Okay. Right, yeah, there's not enough pictures of photographers who really are a part of the parade at this point. And again, Fuji W3, just candid shot.
Very nice. It looks like you got some nice light, too. You said it was raining?
Yeah, off and on. Near the end of the parade, it just totally got rained out. I actually left and then came back. So, yeah, overcast.
It would be a 4-hour Photoshop work if you could turn the guy's lens onto the lady there. So you see what he's photographing.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously he was photographing the person behind her. Yeah.
Can you do that in Photoshop, Oleg? What would you do with you
Yeah,
skew it or
it's simple. All you have to do is you one side, either the left or the right. You select the guy, and then on that picture you just squeeze it from the side, from left to right. But then you have to backfill what's left over.
You make it sound so easy, Oleg.
Yeah.
No, it's going to take time, at least 4 hours.
Squeezing it probably wouldn't work. Maybe if you did a perspective squeeze, but the perspective on the lens, or the curvature of the lens, would have to be changed. Otherwise, it wouldn't look. I mean, everything's going to be changed because he has actual depth, and you can't just squeeze it. What you could do is completely recompose the picture, cut him out, take somebody from another picture, put them in, but it seems like that's way too much work.
I think I know of a way of doing it in like 5 minutes and getting great results. I'll wait about 4 or 5 years and then let AI do it.
There you go. You got that.
Hey, that's the answer for everything.
I used that squeezing before, and it works.
But
It
Yeah,
preserves.
I've used it too. I don't think on this particular subject, I don't believe it would work just because of the nature of his hat, the lens, his shoulder, all these things would and he's in the foreground. So it might, I don't think it would work.
I came to the chat a little bit late. What are you attempting to do to this with him?
Make him aim his camera at the lady instead of to the side.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Well, look, maybe you could do the image squishing, but not the content recreation. Do the easy part, just so we can see what
Okay,
what you're
I'll do.
talking about.
I can do it and not backfill it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'll just take 5 minutes.
Yeah, Oleg, we'd love to see have a workshop next on Tuesday. Do a before and after, if you're up for it. Yeah, don't spend the 4 hours on it. Give us a preliminary view.
I won't do that. It's not worth it. But I've done it before, and I think it'll work.
All right. Well, I'm excited to see that. Yeah, we'll look at that next week. And of course, for those who can't make it next week, we do meet twice a month. The meeting will be recorded and available on YouTube for a few weeks. I had forgotten that the debate is next week. All right, thank you, Jay. Next up, we have 3 by Me. The first 2 I took up near Bodega Bay on the California coast off Highway 1. This is Carmet Beach. I drove up there really on a whim. Was that 2 Fridays ago? I took the day off from work and kind of had this vision. I don't know. And I was able to realize it. I'm very happy with these results. I think the subject is obvious. I took these with my twin Sony RXOs. I'm very happy with the results. And I will be returning in a couple weeks to photograph the rest of the beach and make this a series. That is one of 2 I'm showing tonight. Number 2 is the same beach, different angle, and I've converted this to black and white. It was such an overcast day, the photo was pretty much monochromatic anyway, and I thought it worked better bumping up the contrast and taking out the color.
Where was it?
This is just outside of Bodega Bay. It's a public beach. The beach is called Carmet. I'll type that in the chat. Carmet Beach. And I kind of just got lucky when I found it.
Yeah, I like the second one much better.
Yeah, thanks. A lot of energy here.
It's a good composition too. It's you can see way into the back. I think making it black and white helped. Contrast is nice. It's good.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm hoping to capture some blue sky next time. That's highly variable, of course. Gary,
The splash.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to mention that it's funny that the splash kind of exactly matches the shape of that island.
Yeah, isn't that a great coincidence?
Well, it was timing, so you hit it right.
Yeah, I took hundreds of pairs, and two are worth viewing, in my opinion. I think I need to explore burst mode on these cameras, but I'm not sure if they'll stay synchronized. I'm very happy with the synchronization in this one, but after I had kind of set up the composition, I was kind of really just shooting blind, and the action happens so fast. Gary, I see your comment.
I can't. I had the first image, but I can't see the rest.
Are you are you logged into the YouTube anaglyph view?
I am. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So I'm in both the anaglyph and on the Zoom,
Mm-hmm.
and I was getting the first image that was up on the Zoom, and I also signed into the anaglyph on another monitor, so I could do both. Compare, and then I no longer can seem to get the other ones, the ones that are on Zoom.
Huh.
So
Is anyone else having trouble with the Zoom screen share?
Both Zoom and Lume Pad work fine for me.
Same here.
so
Same here.
should I maybe sign out and sign back in?
That's what I would recommend. Yeah. Pop out and I'll let you right back in, and we'll give this another try.
Thanks. Out.
In the meantime, I will share my third entry for tonight. The title of this is Parade Bike Share, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It was a fun opportunity that I took. This was a parade along the Embarcadero in San Francisco, and I just happened to shoot when this cyclist came by.
Lovely shadow. Really nice.
Yes, thank you. I think enough light bounced off the pavement to illuminate the writer's face adequately. I wish he was looking at us, but this all happened so fast.
Oleg could turn his head. We'll,
It's a really nice touch that the green ground isolates the cyclist from the marchers. It's just a really nice compositional element to separate, like he's got his own little private area to bike in, which is maybe true.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks. Yeah, that is a bike lane.
Basket shadow is kind of cool too.
yeah.
Yeah, that was lucky.
But I just love the silhouette. It's quite unusual. Usually you get kind of boring shadows.
I used to be intimidated to shoot into the light. Now I almost exclusively shoot into the light with backlit subjects. And of course, with Photoshop, with shadow highlights, you can correct a lot of bad exposures. Gary, I see you joined us. Are you able to follow along again?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah, not sure what that glitch was. Restarting always seems to do the trick. All right, thank you. Let's move on to one by Oleg. The title is A Pair of Posters Seem to Interact in a Storefront.
Yeah, this was a couple of weeks ago. I was stuck in Albany getting my car fixed. and it's right where Solano Avenue. I don't know if you heard of it in Albany, and it's all stores, storefronts like this. So I spent about 2 hours taking at least 2 dozen, 3 dozen pictures.
I'm very familiar with Solano Avenue. Every year in September, they have what's called the Solano Stroll, and they close the whole street, a mile of it, and then they have street vendors.
I'm pretty sure that's this Sunday.
I like the sign, Oleg. If you're looking for a shorter title, you could always call it Open Relationship.
Yeah, I usually in the title make it so I can remember what it was.
Good idea.
Let's see. Joe, I have a comment possible to show full screen long side. Are you on the following along on Zoom or on YouTube?
I'm on Zoom.
Okay.
I'm watching on the 3D screen. If you can make a full screen, then I can turn it into 3D right away.
So I am on Zoom. I am showing it full screen. Is it not? It's full screen. The width is full screen, but the height is going to adjust based on the height of the image.
On my screen, it is about 2/3.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure what's happening there. I am displaying it full screen, so unfortunately that might be on your side. We also have a YouTube stream, a half-width side-by-side stream, and you can try that also. And
Okay.
I sometimes get that, and if you go up to the view menu, it's at the bottom of the view menu. It says full screen.
Let me try on YouTube. Okay.
And let me put that link there
In the
for
upper, in the upper right, there's some pull-down menus, and the last one is the full screen view. It sounds like he's getting, and I might even default to that. So
There's also a divider between the shared screen and the gallery view that you can adjust.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
yeah. Also, if you open up the chat, it will make the images smaller.
In the meantime, I've put the YouTube half-width side-by-side stream in the chat, which you can try. And thank you, Steve. Yeah, I'd like to get to the bottom of this. This may not be the first time that this full screen issue has happened on Zoom. Oleg, getting back to your photo, you said you took this on Solano Avenue in Albany or Berkeley?
In Albany, walked about a half a mile and then half a mile back.
Yeah.
And took a lot of pictures, most of them like this, of storefronts.
I love the reflections, and I love being able to see through these windows into the storefront.
Walked about a half a mile and then half a mile back. And took a lot of.
Our next photo by Oleg is called Forest Mural in the Front Yard of a House. Is this also Solano Avenue?
It's on the corner of Solano Avenue. And this is my fourth dimension work. So I made the greenery the same tint, both upper left and bottom right, and also the mural itself. Changed the colors so they would be more or less the same.
Looks like a school.
No, it's a home.
Oh.
I think.
It looks like there's a play yard there, and those columns
Yeah,
looks
mural.
very school-like.
Maybe.
There's also a display where you can put like a poster for the day's activities.
Yeah, exactly.
It is something. You're right.
And the mural in the background.
Hmm.
Yeah, it does. I think Bob's right. I think it looks like a school.
You could do a 3D version of the mural and stick it into the display board there.
You could put anything in those
Yeah.
holders.
Put a duck in there.
Put a left and right image and freeview it.
I don't mind changing the colors, but I hate to change the what it is.
It plays very nice anaglyphically.
Yeah, it does. By the way, the anaglyph stream is a half-color anaglyph, which I think is a fair compromise. It gives some color to the image, but it reduces those reds and those blues that really can clash in anaglyphs. But this one, really, with the sort of the soft blues and limited reds, is an ideal subject for anaglyph. Now, Oleg, most people consider the fourth dimension to be time, but by your definition in stereophotography, you define the fourth dimension as color. Is that right?
Yes. The wonderful thing about still photography is it eliminates time.
And time is not the fourth dimension. Anyway, it is one possible fourth dimension.
Well, for Einstein.
I mean, yeah, in the context of space-time, sure.
It's real. Except it only happens at near the speed of light.
Well, Oleg, I'm still waiting for you to publish your book on your theory of stereo photography composition.
I've done a paragraph, and I'm such a lousy writer. How are you as an editor?
I'm not bad. I actually wrote a book. It's not about 3D, though. I'd be happy to collaborate with you on that project. Let me know if you're interested.
Oh, it would be wonderful.
Okay. Well, I will. I'll touch base with you, and I'll show you what I have, and I'll tell you what I know, and we'll go from there.
Terrific.
I love this idea. Okay. Oleg, we've got two more from you coming up. The next one is called Golden Gate Bridge Mural at a Home Entrance.
Okay, it's okay. A school entrance. Oh, even it says school. So again, I doctored the colors, the yellows to be the same, both on the sign and the post and the daffodils in the background. The school mirror, that school color is that awful chartreuse type that they use. Change it to real yellow.
Did you punch up that red on that curb?
A little bit. I probably overdo it most times, but it's tempting.
Yeah, I think it looks good to me.
So are you using a heightened stereo? Are these the lenses farther apart?
Yes, this is a 6-inch. Oh wait, no, I went with one camera. This is a Cha-Cha.
Is this a smartphone or is this one of your Canons?
It's a Canon.
Okay.
I really like the Canon. This is what I worry about, that new display, whether it has the color depth. You need to have a good color depth to do what I'm doing.
I think also, once you've committed to a brand, it's and certainly once you've invested in lenses and mounts and whatnot, it's hard
Yeah,
it's hard to switch.
I got about $10,000 worth of lenses for my twin rig, so I'm not about to switch to Sony.
Well, I still love my Canon DSLRs. I wish Canon would make a so-called action camera, something a little smaller. But we can dream. And Oleg, we've got one more by you tonight. View up Solano Avenue at a real estate office.
Yeah, this I sort of like the balance between the left and the right. Like the fact that the car on the left looks like it's going to bump into the glasses. Anyway, it's also reflected on the right side, so it's sort of balanced.
And the Winkler sign is three-dimensional.
Yeah.
And those tree branches make a nice frame on top.
Yeah, those on Solana Avenue, what they did was the bike racks or the middle one there is a bike rack. There's only two bikes attached. I got lots of pictures of the bike racks alone. They're pretty cute.
I love the additional depth we get in the reflection on the doors to the right. There's a whole nother part of the neighborhood to explore in there.
Yeah, that again, having that color depth, it's also preserves a lot of the that's very black actually, if you look at it undoctored. But I extracted all of that detail out of it, all the color.
Is this another Cha-Cha?
Yeah, I was going to ask that too. It looks like it
Yes.
is.
Yes, it's a Cha-Cha.
So did you have to wait a long time till there are no cars and no people?
In this particular case, no, but on several others, yes.
There is a car that moved in the reflection. There's a dark car.
Oh,
It moved quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I just
Didn't
noticed
catch
that.
that.
I think we can kind of accept that in reflections.
Oh yeah, it's not terrible, but I did notice that. You can see it's also got a blinker that's on in the left eye, but not in the right eye. So you see an orange. It's got a little orange line in the middle of the door.
I'll look for it and fix it.
In the middle of the door, you'll see an orange streak. That's the turn signal on the car.
Oh. Yeah, I found lots of that kind of stuff on my other pictures.
I kind of like it. I don't know if it really needs to be fixed. You could certainly just paint out that that bright turn signal to make it less noticeable. Well, Oleg, I know Solano Avenue very well. You probably passed the Albany Twin Theater. That was Tor Clippert's theater before it closed. He's working various other theaters now. And Oleg, I'll tell you, I've been shooting this street in stereo for maybe 30 years, and I've never produced anything that was ever worth sharing with anybody. So it's great to see these. I don't know why I'm always stymied. There are plenty of interesting subjects, and I hope you make it back.
Yeah, well, every time I have to get my car serviced, I'll be there.
All right.
When my son was in high school, we took a photography class at City College, and there was an assignment that we were supposed to do something around San Pablo Avenue. And so he and I decided to do the entire length of San Pablo Avenue from downtown Oakland to the Carquinez Bridge, shooting things that were reflections, puddles, mirrors, windows, all rear view mirrors, the whole thing. It was a great series. I don't know where it is anymore, but they were not in stereo, unfortunately, but they would have been great.
Well, that's inspired.
I think you just talked me into doing that. San Pablo Avenue. That's a long one, though.
It's really long, but there were so many interesting, different kinds of neighborhoods along that road. If you go there, and you end at the Carquinez Bridge, which has got the reflection of the bay itself.
Yeah, that's a project.
Yeah, but it's good to do it maybe after there's a rainstorm, or to go back after a rainstorm, because the puddles often were very interesting.
Yeah. Well, that wouldn't have been stereo, would it?
It was not stereo.
Yeah.
I mean, I had NIMSLO with me, and I may well have taken a few, but I don't have any idea where they are.
Yeah, there's lots of great mid-century architecture up and down San Pablo Avenue. It's the old highway, of course, the old Lincoln Highway. Oleg, when you initiate this project, be sure to ring me when you're in my neighborhood. I live just a couple blocks down from San Pablo Avenue. As I think you know, you've been over here before at GGSS HQ. All right, thank you, Oleg. Bob, we've got 4 by you up next. I hope I got the ones that you wanted to exhibit tonight. I didn't have a chance to modify the spreadsheet this evening, although, Gary, we do have one by you, which we'll be getting to in a bit. So we will start off with Novice Monk Angkor Wat by Robert Bloomberg. Bob, what can you tell us about this?
As Oleg says, I think the title says it all. This was one of the trips we took to Angkor Wat, which is an incredible place. And this was just one of the views. And a nice novice monk happened to be there and willing to strike a meditative pose. And I'm showing this. This wasn't one of the ones I selected to show, but I am interested in trying to do something with the kind of blown out sky there and seeing something that doesn't look unnatural, but maybe do some sky replacement.
Sounds like a good idea. I like the backlighting on the guy.
Yeah, he's, and of course I love that robe and the color of their.
As a general rule, a vanishing point on the edge of the picture tends to take the eye off the picture, but the monk is so strong that the picture works.
Yeah, the vanishing point's in one eye, but not the other, which doesn't bug me. If it's available at all,
Yeah, it can be
just
adjusted.
recropping that.
I think I did. This is part of a show that I produced, and I think for the show I might have cropped it.
Yeah, and if it's not available, you could do the opposite and just crop the vanishing point well out of both pictures. So it makes it more about the monk, which is maybe stronger anyway.
I like seeing the end of the building. It could always be extended on one side also and kind of generate the missing part, cut and paste. Since it's so far back in the scene, it wouldn't be a difficult thing to extend both the left and right on the right side.
2 hours.
I'm previewing and it looks, actually in the preview, it looks perfect. I see the end of the building. I don't know why, but.
Yeah, no, it doesn't bother me that much, but it can be adjusted.
Yeah, I like there's a rectangular shape. Maybe it's a door, maybe it just looks like a door, but I would definitely want to keep that in the composition. It adds some intrigue to this photo. And I love that you're shooting into the light.
Of course. And this is pre-digital.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
This was shot when I was shooting Canons. And I can't recall if this was a double rig or I think it could have been. Yeah. Or a cha-cha, because he was holding quite still for me. I have a wonderful shot of, I believe it's the same gentleman here and a friend of his, also a novice monk, looking at a 3D viewer and laughing.
You got a lot of detail out of that otherwise blown out sky for a film scan. I'm very impressed.
And I think this may have been scanned on my Bessler dual mode slide copier.
Yeah, great quality, great color.
Thanks.
All right, next up from you, I have recycled sex.
This was going to be for the humor category. This was not set up. This was during COVID. I would take a walk to the post office every day, and one day, this was the scene that I came upon, and my partner Marilyn wanted to call it, where trash bins come from, or how trash bins are made. But I liked recycled sex.
Very cute.
Recology hump.
Right.
It's a good composition too. The depth going into the back is very nice.
I think I did a variation. I went in and did some cloning and manipulation of those very bright posts in the background, which kind of bothered me a bit. Took away from the foreground a little bit too much. Plus, you're only seeing that third post on the right in the right image and not in the left. So I think I may have even cloned it out completely.
Well, those vertical
We
fence
also
posts.
balance the two posts, the large posts in the foreground and the two in the background if I got rid of that.
Yeah, I haven't seen the original, but the work is probably worth it.
On a picture like this, I would have increased the saturation of the greens in the foreground.
Yeah. Well, I haven't done anything to the color on that. I did a little vignetting on it just to focus on them. But yeah, no, if I wanted to go in and do some more, I would highlight them more and saturate them a bit more to give them more attention. I don't know about the grass if I would do much to that, but
Do you recall what camera or cameras you used for this?
oh, this was an iPhone. Cha-cha.
Smartphone Cha-cha.
Yep.
Yeah, I think those vertical fence posts really add a lot to the depth.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a superior composition with them, and it definitely checks that humor box.
Yeah, this was an earlier iPhone than the one I have now. I think it was the 12 Pro.
Bob, did you ever shoot with the Fuji W3?
Yeah, I still have one.
You still
And I've got a couple of attachments from Ken Burgess. I've got his wide angle attachment and also a macro. If anyone has a W3 and they're looking for a macro attachment, I'm going to be selling one of them. So.
Well, I was in the market myself for a new W3. I wore mine out, but I'm hoping this X-Reel Beam Pro will be a suitable Fuji W3.
Yeah, I'm curious about the quality of it. George is very excited about it, but
yeah,
George is very excitable about new toys. So no wait.
Well, he wasn't excited about the Sonys that Lee Pratt and I and maybe others on this call use. And I can't blame them. They're definitely an acquired taste. Sony is an acquired taste when it comes to cameras, I think. But very nice, Bob. Thank you. And we have one more to enjoy from you. I'm sorry. We have two more to enjoy from you. This, and this will be coming up on the YouTube stream momentarily, is Roof Dragon.
And this was taken at 3DCon. I did a little research on Google about interesting places near the convention, and turned out this one self-taught artist collected junk and just built all these wonderful creatures and statues and filled his property with them. And before someone points it out, I know there is an anomaly with that foreground post or stick coming up, because I took out, there were some electrical lines on this that I got rid of. And I haven't really gone in and done a complete job on it. And this isn't actually, I thought I had sent a revised version of it, because I can tell by the eyes that it's not the finished one that I have. But
I like the sky very much.
yeah, I've been liking vignetting lately, and this seemed an object that was perfect for it. Kind of gave it more of a mystical highlight, glow to it.
Yeah, it really helps a lot of pictures, and I can't usually guess which ones are going to be helped.
Mhm.
Bob, this wasn't an excursion. You just went out on your own and
Yeah,
found this
no,
great
I
subject.
just actually Steve Barrison offered to drive. I told him about the place. He said, "Oh, let's go." So we headed out. No, I have a whole series taken there. There were some wonderful statues.
Now,
And
someone-
almost full size Statue of Liberty and lots of other fun stuff.
oh, well, I hope we get to see more of those.
Yeah.
Speaking of vignetting, and maybe someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that I read for PSA exhibitions, like PSA international exhibitions, vignetting is a technique that is not allowed.
Really?
Yeah,
I've never heard that.
I was very surprised to see that.
That's good to know if that's true. Is that in the rule book somewhere? They have very strange.
They do, yeah. I think Herb, if you're here, you could probably speak to the challenge of working with the PSA for the Cascade International, and I think that's where I read it when I was.
Yeah,
boning up on
I
that.
am not familiar with the rule about vignetting, but basically, this year, because they changed the rules, it took us like an extra 6 weeks to get our exhibition through the approval process.
Mm. Thanks for bringing that
So-
up. I would be very curious to know before I enter it, because I've been entering for decades, and that's the first I've heard of it.
So the rule would essentially ban crappy lenses.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it probably came out of things like people generating lens flares and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, the requirement is you can't use AI to manipulate your image. Your image has to be originate 100% photographically, but once you have the image, you can then use software that doesn't use generative AI to modify it. I mean, in fact, we have an altered reality section in the Cascade exhibition, and people have done some very creative things. And if you'd like to see some examples of accepted images on the Cascade webpage, we have catalogs of past exhibitions, and you can actually download those PDF catalogs and see all the accepted images. So
Maybe they're.
The
Go
one thing
ahead.
I might do on this picture is on the right side, the vignetting. At first, I thought it was just a circular bunch of clouds, but if you can get the vignetting to be at the behind farther,
Yeah, no, I agree.
it's a 1 hour job to shift the edge of the vignetting over to the right.
Okay, well, I appreciate your doing it. I'll let you do a screen grab. No, I may try it.
Yeah, it'll take an hour.
Now we first have to find out if they're allowing vignetting at all before I do any work on it.
Tell them the cloud was that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know if you find out anything, Bob. Let us know. It could be one of those rules that's on the books, but maybe judges aren't really enforcing it.
Yeah, I have a couple of people I can call
Yeah.
and see about it.
Very
Who'll know.
curious. And finally, this, Bob, this is a warehouse mural.
Yeah, again, I've got another version of this that I'd like to show at some point. But yeah, this is actually the title when I ID'd. I couldn't remember where I had shot this, and I got the original file and did a, it gave me the latitude and the longitude of where it was taken. So I plugged that into Google, and it reminded me that it was in New Orleans. And this is, it's an artist collective. It's called Studio BE, and they do change their murals occasionally. And this one really took my eye, and I passed by it at night and stopped. And this is Cha-Cha with the iPhone 15 Pro Max.
Yeah, great lighting.
Yeah, what a sky.
And the foreground was coming up and coming through the window. And I thought, well, let me just cut that out and have it come forward, because I like the surreal quality of the image. And so I did that, and I think it works pretty well.
What was the foreground before you were saying?
It's just a continuation of, I mean, I could show it next time, but basically, if you imagine that pavement filled in where the black is and extended, it does violate the window. And I thought this was a way of dealing with that, but also it kind of makes the eye focus on the mural itself, which I liked.
Is that a ball of fire in her hand?
I must confess, I think I added that, but I have to look at the original.
Because of the colors, this one works great as an anaglyph.
Yeah, I figured the yellows would be. I have a version of it where I know Oleg would not approve, but I have a version with someone walking past the building blurred, like a time lapse, which I liked. I may send that in to you and see what you think.
Again, one thing I would do on this picture is that the bottom part of the floor, make it parallel to the window.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
That's a pretty easy job.
Yeah.
Distort command.
Yeah.
You could also put a false frame around it so that the foreground lip comes over the bottom of the frame.
Well, I was hoping it would read that way anyway, that's sticking out.
It is sticking out, yeah.
Yeah.
You could accentuate that if you wanted.
I think I may just try the straightening, or not. I have to sit with it for a little bit.
Yeah, really nice. Thank you, Bob. And
Thank
yeah, I probably missed your updates, but if you want to resubmit them, we'd love to take a look at them. If you can join us next week, we'll have time. If we could do kind of a before and after workshop, or you could submit them at a later meeting, just as regular submissions.
You have the other images I sent in. You still have those, right?
I'm sure I do. Yeah.
Okay. Good. I was hoping to see one of them, the Escher Hotel.
That one I put in the special for architecture.
Oh, okay.
So that one is queued up for next week.
Okay, good.
All right. Thank you, Bob.
Sure.
Before
Very
we
nice.
move on, I want to point out two things in the chat. Lee, thank you for posting information about the Detroit International Stereo Exhibition. The closing date is October 21st. And there's some information about the categories as well as a link. And Gary, thank you for posting the your story about the Jaws 3D poster. Jaws 3D, of course, perhaps the best 3D movie from the summer of 1983, brief 3D fad, which isn't saying a lot, but I've got my copy right here. One of my personal favorites, and it's a classic poster as well. Not as classic as the original Jaws, but
Did you see the original Jaws that they redid in 3D and showed at a few theaters?
I missed
Yes, I saw that.
I saw it.
Excellent.
I'm
Too bad. I don't know if we can get that anywhere.
I actually just looked recently, well, maybe last week, looking for a Blu-ray 3D release, and couldn't find it. Maybe in Japan. I'm finding some good titles coming out of Japan. I buy them on eBay. So I'll keep my eyes open. I'm sorry I missed that myself. So thanks, Gary. Yeah, and I'm going to put a link in there. This is more for our local guests who are in proximity to Solano Avenue, the neighborhood that Oleg photographed and showed us this evening. The Solano Stroll, the annual Solano Stroll, is on Sunday, I think. Yes, Sunday, September 8th. I have brought my stereo cameras to the stroll in the past, and it's been so crowded, I couldn't get any distance between me and my subject and never came home with any good stereo shots, but maybe we'll get lucky this year. And maybe I'll see some of you there. All right. Steve, looks to me by your titles like you returned from a trip to Deutschland and Österreich, Germany and Austria.
Indeed. That is the reason that I missed the last meeting. Took a little cruise on the Danube.
Very nice. Sehr schön, as they say in German.
This particular picture, I mean, most of it's pretty straight documentary style. This one, I almost wanted to submit to. They're moving and there was some motion blur, and I used Topaz, and it really did a nice job.
Oh.
Maybe one day we can show the comparison. And I just took the side by side and processed them together, and that worked. I think it worked.
Yeah, I don't see any retinal rivalry or any errors, stereo errors that it might have done.
The hand bothers me that it's cutting it off there.
Yeah.
But you can push her back a little bit.
I'm always loath to move back because you lose depth.
Yeah. Well, you could try generative fill and fill out her hand, and maybe it won't give her 7 fingers, and it can help out. There's a little. It looks like the bow kind of disappeared in front of that gentleman back there. That's giving up.
Actually, the left image has quite a bit of her hand.
Yeah.
So I can probably reconstruct it properly from into the right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd have to build more of the background. That's out of focus, so it's probably less of a challenge. But
Yeah.
You could
that's
also. Why I want to see, because
Yeah, you've got a room to extend her on the left because you can crop to his right and not lose anything important.
I
If you want.
almost did, but I kind of like that blue flag. But I'm definitely looking to get a suggestion. So if it looked better to crop out the blue flag, I'll definitely go for that.
Let's say maybe crop it a little bit, but I'm thinking if you did select subject in Photoshop or a similar program like that, so you could isolate her from that background, you could then give a Gaussian blur to it, darken it a bit, which would help her stand out and be less anomalies going on.
Yeah, that I can definitely do.
Yeah.
Well, if you're doing all that work, get rid of that worm that's coming out of that lady's back.
Say what?
The worm that's coming out of the lady's back.
That detail right there.
Yeah.
You talking about the foreground lady?
Over her right shoulder. Over her right shoulder. There's
yeah.
a top of the bass fiddle, I think, or a bassoon. Yeah, I swear that's good.
Yeah, no, good call. I didn't even notice it.
What is it? I don't know what we're talking about.
Notice that
It's the top of an instrument. Just to the right of her neck.
where that square is. Somebody's highlighting it.
I've tried to highlight it to call it out. It's slightly out of focus.
So you're talking about her necklace?
No.
No.
Over her right shoulder, just behind her, there is the top of a bass fiddle or a bassoon or something, and it looks like it's coming out of her neck.
Oh,
See the square that Matt put on there?
really? Yeah. I mean, the depth doesn't clue you that it's way out in the background.
Well, it is, but there's so much difference in the positioning of the two on the left and right that it provides rivalry there. I think it would be better if it was cloned out, and where it hits her hair, you could always cut and paste the hair from the right into the left because you have that plain wall background. It's not going to.
Oh yeah, that would be easy. Yeah, it's just the top of like a bass fiddle or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, I never would have. It didn't look like a worm to me.
I didn't see the worm either.
Some people are very imaginative.
That would definitely be a rule breaker in 2D photography. Having that, it does, looking at it with one eye, it does look like something is connected to her. But in 3D, yeah, it does create that separation.
I think I think this was Bob's suggestion of darkening the background. I think that's the one that I would definitely go for. I think that's an excellent suggestion. Everything else, I mean, the hand, yeah, I could definitely do that. I'm pretty good at cloning stuff.
Or at least push her back a little bit on that side for the hand, just so it's not breaking the window there. But I'd be careful about darkening the background around the bow. If you want to preserve that.
Yeah, well, I could also like desaturate it, or just to maybe even throw it more out of focus. I don't know.
Yeah, I think if you're willing to spend the time and outline her bow, separate her and the bow from the background, then it'd be an easy deal.
Yeah.
And I think that select subject might take care of most of it. And then you'd have to probably go in with the tool and do the bow.
Yeah, I mean, I have sort of a selection tool. I don't know if Affinity has a select subject. I'd have to search around for that.
It's been a boon in Photoshop. It's amazing what it does.
Well, I'll do some research and see what they have.
Yeah, it can really save you hours.
I mean, I could just select just do the selection based on the edges. I think I can do that pretty fast.
Mhm.
You'll probably select something like that in 5 minutes.
Steve, I'd like to try something real quick, an alternative to repairing the hand or adding the hand. I wonder if we cropped it very tightly, something like that. I don't know. Now it looks like the violin is just sort of floating in space. I don't think that really works. I just wanted to try that as an option, but
No, that's a really good idea. That was obviously a lot simpler.
I love the neck of his instrument, and I thought one easy thing, you could push him forward very easily by just selecting him on the right chip and cutting him out and just scooting him over a little bit to the left, and he would come forward. But I'm getting a skew, like he looks like he's coming through the neck of his instrument's coming through the window on the right, and yet her instrument seems right at the window here. So it seems like we've got two windows, one forward and one back. Anyone else seeing that? Or
I had that reaction that it really looked like the neck of, I don't know what this instrument's called, but that was sticking way out. And I said, well, he's standing way back. That's definitely not an artifact from Topaz. There are just pictures like that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't remember if that was a really long thing.
Are the left and right images exactly the same size?
I see that also, and I bet that 2 images are not exactly the same size.
I think that's causing the skew. If you just select the smaller of the image and just bring it over to the other one and set up a guide, you could crop it, and I think it would take care of that window. But I still would be interested to see him scoot forward a little bit, but it would all depend on the window setting.
Yeah, I'd be scared to move him too much because then it would look like he's tiny.
Yeah, possibly. No, I was just thinking a couple pixels. But I'm curious. Matt, can you check the...
let me run auto align on this and let's see what happens. Yeah, let me run Stereo Photo Maker auto align on this. Hang on a second. Auto align. Okay, that did something. No, it didn't.
Still getting 2 windows.
Didn't do too much. No, we're talking about perspective adjustments of about 0.1 or 0.2 degrees. So
yeah, I mean, I already ran auto align on this.
I don't know if it's a size difference between the
I'm
images.
just curious if you selected one and move the selection over and just see if it's the same.
That unfortunately I'm not equipped to do with this setup right here.
I can do it, but I need to transfer it into Photoshop here.
Yeah, for those who want to take matters into their own hands, you can download these photos, by the way, and there is a link.
Oh, good. I've been doing screen grabs.
Oh, let me give you the download link. I'll put this in the chat. And Gary, thank you for the link to the Solano Stroll in the chat. If you want to view the slideshow on your own device, or if you want to manipulate or edit or experiment with the photos, I just put the download link in the chat. It'll download as a zip file. There's a zip file for tonight's open, and there's a zip file for next week's special architecture theme, although that may grow because people, and I do encourage people to submit entries for next week. if they haven't already. But you can go to town with the images with that link. Thank you, Steve. Let's take a look at another Munich photo. This is Munich snacks for sale. There we go.
So this is also because it was actually a kind of low light. It doesn't look like it because there's some light coming in through the window, but I sharpened this up also with topaz. And then of course I put a border at the top just so the pretzel would stick out. And I increased the contrast. I did a lot of sort of curve adjustments on this to brighten it up because it was kind of dull. The original was.
She's a great subject. My only suggestion would be to crop the left and clone some of that background around her head on the right and left. It's kind of interfering with her face.
All right.
You got great color out of this one.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, those little hearts there give you a lot of color variety.
Perfect for anaglyph.
I got a 2-hour project, and I might do it for you. What I would do is the bottom of the crate that she's in front of her, extend it downwards so it'll pop out same as the top is popping out, except it'll be popping out at the bottom.
I mean, to my eye, it actually is popping out a bit.
It is, but it's if you can do that treatment you did at the top, at the bottom, then it won't be it'll be more natural.
Okay.
The front of that basket is in front of the window.
Oleg, how does the pretzel look to you? Is that in front of the window, or is that behind the window for you?
The pretzel's in front of the window, way in front of it.
Huh. I'm seeing it differently on my Lume Pad. It looks like the basket is at the window, and the pretzel is a little bit behind.
It could be.
I think you'd have to reconstruct the rest of the basket to have it
right
proper in terms of coming through the window, because the pretzel is definitely coming through the window. The basket, if you completed it here, generative fill, would give you a more dynamic coming through the window effect with both.
Yeah, it'd be more balanced, top and bottom.
I'd be curious to see what generative fill did with that.
Oh, just a simple clone of the basket would do it.
Yeah, it's a bit of cloning and matching. So
Oleg, you're
few minutes.
You're giving us these hourly estimates. Are you charging by the hour for these these fixes?
Well, if somebody wants me to do it, I'll do it. I'm retired.
And Steve, these are W3 shots, I presume?
They are.
All right. Well, thank you, Steve. Let's look at two more by you. First is Salzburg lock watcher.
You may have seen these bridges where, lovers, they seal their relationship by locking something to a fence. They actually told a story, the tour guide told a story about a bridge actually collapsing from the weight of all the lock. So many people put them on. So they take a requirement that they keep the locks pretty small.
Would you call the subject of this photo the locks or the accordionist?
No, I think the musician is the subject, but I found that interesting
Yeah.
about the locks. I keep looking at this and thinking there's some kind of flaw in there because you look at the water on the right and there are these little lines, but that's actually a piece of plastic there. There's a plastic barrier that's got some scratches on it.
Yeah, I was wondering that.
Yeah, that you could clone out, and I would crop a little bit on the right. And any way of getting more detail in his face, I kind of would love to see a little bit more of his expression.
I probably could if I isolated it. Mostly what I did is just manipulate shadows and highlights overall.
Mm-hmm.
Cutting out is relatively easy, but it becomes more than twice the work in 3D because you have whatever mistakes you make on one side, you have to make the same mistake on the other side. Your eye is very forgiving in 2D, but in 3D, you just got to get it perfect. Actually, motion is similar to that. You can get a perfect picture and the next frame could be perfect, but then when you play them in motion, it's just terrible.
Yeah. I think his head could be selected fairly easily. He's got nice.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be that hard, even to select his whole body. It just, I had a couple thousand pictures, and so just going through the pictures and figuring out which ones I wanted to play with was a pretty huge job. And I took a whole bunch of pictures from the boat. For next week, I'll have some cha-chas from a moving boat.
Just a question, was he that tan or saturated there? Or the color at least seems a little intense, but.
I may have heightened the color. He was pretty dark skinned.
I'm more concerned about the saturation. Seems a little tad excessive.
I probably, if I'm gonna fail, if I'm gonna err, I'll err on the side of too much color. So that's me. Yeah, everything's gonna look like the Wizard of Oz if I get my hands on it.
I had to leave for a moment, so you'd maybe talked about it, but the hat that he's got out there, is there any way to give that a little bit more contrast from the shadows?
Well, I'm sure there's a way to bring it out. I mean, I could lighten the shadow and darken the hat. There's a number of things. Once I would commit to actually cutting out these, putting them on separate layers, then Bob's your uncle. You can do whatever you want with him.
Yeah.
Of course, this photo would have benefited from a fill flash, which the Fuji W3 can do. Of course, you don't necessarily want to be flashing people when you are doing street photography, and that will drain the battery quite fast too. And I'll take this opportunity to make a gripe about the X-Reel Beam Pro. It's the same gripe I have about the W3. The flash is right between the lenses, so you get opposing shadows when you use the flash. Less of an issue in a daylight fill light shot like this, but if you're shooting in a dark room, it can be very distracting. So that's a shame. They could have put the flash anywhere on this X-Real Beam Pro, but they stuck it right between the lenses.
Is it an actual flash or an LED?
It's an
or-
LED. It's more like a video light. In fact, I really haven't even experimented with it. I don't know if it can be used as a flash or if you can just turn it on like a flashlight and then shoot with it. I would imagine that the Fuji W3's flash would be brighter, being a real flash.
That's an interesting suggestion. I have gotten some good results with in daylight using a fill flash.
Yeah. I forget if there's a fill flash specific setting on the W3. Some cameras had it when we were still
Well, I
doing
think you
cameras.
just do a force flash. I think I've gotten better results with my phone. I think that because I've used it on my phone and also my wife's phone. I use the fill flash on a sunny day, and it's subtle, but it does help.
It can help, yeah. So just go back to Salzburg and try again. And
One thing I'm always doing now is I can't remember of it's curves. If you do the curves, you can you can do it for all colors, or you can select which colors. So in curves, you can both brighten the guy's face and get rid of the redness.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I mean, I've used curves a fair amount, but I rarely do the curves on an individual color. But it might work in this case. But I think, I mean, it would probably affect some of the background. But you know, also cutting them out, that gives you a lot more control. But the curves, that's a great suggestion. I know they have the curves in Affinity.
You could put those curves on a separate layer. So if you wanted to maintain the background coloring, you could just erase the top layer in those places.
Yeah, Affinity has that, so they're non-destructive. You can put them on a layer, and then you can adjust it at any point.
Mm-hmm.
They're not locked in.
before we move on, I think I need to rescind my recommendation of using a fill flash, because I realize that a fill flash would reflect off of that plastic barrier behind the subject. So you probably have a big glare that you would have to deal with that you don't have to worry about now. That would be a bigger cloning job. And Steve, we have one more from you from your Danube River cruise for this evening. Viennese Equestrians is the title.
Yeah, it's quite a number of horses. Yeah, this is in Vienna, Austria. And I just liked the angle that this guy's had. I have, dozens of pictures of horses, horse-drawn carriages, and I'm sure people will have suggestions.
How did you get so close to the subjects?
Just make a jerk of yourself. Just get close and then move and then run away.
All right.
Well, as I said, that's the thing about 3D. If you want to get a noticeable depth, you can't zoom in. You got to get there.
Right.
You got to go for it. So I tend to get close. You can see sort of from their attitude that people are always taking pictures of them. So they're taking it in stride. Yeah, so all 4 of these are W3.
Yeah, I think this one is successful. It's too bad there wasn't greater separation between the woman writing in the foreground and there's a person behind her who we can't really see. That's my only observation.
It could be removed, right?
Mm-hmm.
That might not be a bad idea. Oleg will quote you as hourly rate for that.
3 hours.
Right.
Nah. 25 minutes.
In some ways, I mean, as I said, these are documentary, and anybody who makes a film documentary would really shudder at the thought of. I'm sure they do that with their editing, but you're not supposed to adjust it that much. But I mean, for photography purposes, I wouldn't mind cloning out the truck because it has this or the cars. It has this old world feeling, except for those vehicles. But yeah, I'd see how that cloning out the guy in the far left would really make her stand out more.
Well, it's just that's a distraction.
It wouldn't be too hard to do.
See, when your eye is taken to that, and you're saying, who is that? What's that? Then that takes away from the beauty of the rest of the picture, I think.
Yeah, good point. One concluding thing I'll say about the depth, you had mentioned, Steve, as a stereo photographer, you just need to get in there and get close to get the depth, and I totally agree with that. I think the Fuji W3 will record better depth than the X-Reel Beam Pro. The X-Reel Beam Pro, there's good separation, but it's about 20 millimeters or so less than the W3. So you do have to get even closer to the subject with this new camera. Not quite as close as a Red Hydrogen 1, but kind of somewhere in the middle between a Hydrogen 1 and a W3. It's a new challenge. And thank you very much, Steve.
That's good to know. I was very curious about that stuff. Thanks everybody for so generous with your time and making suggestions.
What do you think we're here for?
Well,
thank you, Steve. Gary, thank you for your patience. Thanks for waiting. Yours was a later entry, so I had to put it at the end, but I've been looking forward to sharing this. The title is From Cradle to Grave.
I produced a movie on the writer MFK Fisher, and there had been a film made in 1992 by a local filmmaker named Barbara Werman. We tried to track her down, and I finally tracked her daughter down 2 years ago. And the daughter said, well, she's, I don't know, she'd probably like to come see your movie when we premiered it at the Mill Valley Film Festival, but she didn't. Then she was sick, and she kept saying I could come over, but then she would cancel. 2 days ago, I get a phone call from the daughter who lives in Oakland saying, my mother died in July, and we've got 3 boxes of original film and various material. You can come and get it. So I go to her house, and she's an artist, And in her art room was sitting there, and I just couldn't resist taking a picture of it and calling it From Cradle to Grave. So I was showing it to Bob yesterday, and so he sent it to you. We sent you a couple other things, but it was too late to put them up. But in the chat, I made some reference. At the Exploratorium, there's a show going through this coming weekend that is making art out of junk, of stuff around, thrift stuff. And there's one exhibit of masks made from old shoes. And they're amazing. There are several other very good stereo subjects in this show, particularly a cloud, fake cloud, but fantastic. So if any of you are members of the Exploratorium, because it's very expensive if you're not a member, you might try to get over there through the weekend and enjoy this show. There's a lot of really cool things. And while you're there, there's some very good film stuff being shown. The Way Things Go, which I would sure love to see in 3D. It's a half-hour Rube Goldberg it's a full half hour of things happening one after the other. And then there's a program of short films that are quite good, just as a side thing that you're there. So any questions? I didn't do anything special with this. I took it in i3D, i3D steroid on my phone. And Bob, did you make a slight adjustment on it or not?
I don't think I just
That's right.
no, because I would have cropped a little bit on the left and reset that window a bit. No, I just sent it on. And those the images that Gary was talking about that I sent to you, you could show next week because they are wonderful.
Yeah, if we have time, next week is our architecture theme.
Oh, right.
So I'll see what I can do. This one is really wonderful. I love the position of the knees coming through the window. It's got a lot of depth, but it's, for me at least, it's not uncomfortable. How does everyone else feel about this one?
No, I like it. Again, I would just fix the top is different in the left and right. And that air conditioner unit on the wall there, I would just maybe crop a little closer to the cradle.
There's an air conditioning unit on the wall?
Or whatever that is there. It's got a little bit of rivalry going.
Yeah, I'm seeing a little retinal rivalry just on the left there.
Kind of wooden looking thing.
Just because the edges of these book binders it's just different enough that it's kind of, just crop it, crop a 5% off. Now you can probably crop the right side as well. But I think, the knee, I was definitely struck by how the knee is coming out at you. I think that's great. But you didn't pose it. It was posed like this.
The way it was just in the studio, just like that. And I like the fact that it wasn't coming straight out at you, that they were knees that were sort of spread.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, it's not a gimmicky kind of composition. It's not the skeleton reaching out for you. It's a photo that tells a story, cradle to grave, and it's I think very well posed for stereo.
Thanks.
Gary, how long have you been shooting stereo? I know we've seen some of your photos in the past. I was actually looking to try to show them again tonight, but I couldn't find them in my archives. But I get the sense you've been experimenting with stereo for quite a while now.
Yeah, I think Bob brought me into it. Probably with the Nimslow was the first film. We remember the Nature Store. So that will take you back. And then a Stereo Realist soon thereafter. Maybe I bought the Stereo Realist first. I'm not sure which. And I did a lot for a while, and then I sort of dropped off. And then when I got a W3, I played around with it a bit more. I went to the stereo conference in Anaheim with Steve and Bob. But I'm not. The things all you guys are talking about are stuff that I don't understand. I haven't learned how to manipulate. I don't know how to use Photoshop. So I take my shots, and Bob gets mad at me. He says, "Well, do a bunch of cha-chas," and sometimes I'm just in steroid mode, and I don't want to have to play around with it. And I'm guessing that I'm doing the right distance on the cha-cha. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
But I want to learn more when I have the time. That's the problem.
We'll do a tutorial out here. one day soon.
And you're welcome to ask us questions also. You don't need to be a Photoshop expert. Some of us don't manipulate our photos in a photo editing application at all, other than maybe to do some necessary alignments and that kind of thing that I think you're probably already doing.
No, I'm not. I have to learn how to do
So,
that.
you know, the degree to which you edit your photos is entirely up to you. Personally, me, I'm kind of bored with Photoshop right now. I'm really aiming to get everything right in the camera. Maybe a little bit of cropping, maybe color manipulation, that kind of thing. But don't feel like you have to be a Photoshop expert or even a photographer in order to share your photography with us here.
I mean, I go on a lot of long walks with a friend, and we will see things that I take pictures of that I think are kind of fun. They really are fun. One of the things I need to do is to organize and get them all put into a folder so that I can easily go find things.
Yeah, just finding the time, right?
Yeah.
Gary, how do you view these stereo photos? Do you have like a gadget, a TV, or a tablet, or do you view them in anaglyphs, or do you free view? What's your preference?
No, I free view. I keep saying I want to get some glasses like Steve is wearing, probably, so that I can look at them on the computer and show them to other people. Because trying to tell people how to free view is very difficult sometimes. They're afraid their eyes are going to get stuck.
It's a skill. It's a skill I wish that they taught in elementary school. Things would be very different then, but that's a pro skill, being able to free view side by side or cross view photo.
Well, I have this very strange thing that happens. That I can look at a still photo or be sitting in a movie theater that's showing a flat film, and if I go into free view mode, it looks 3D.
Interesting.
I think that's the drugs kicking in.
Except I never took drugs.
Well, you're probably seeing something that you're perceiving as 3D.
I want to believe it.
I think that occurs with colors. Red may stand out differently than the other colors. It's some things are happening in your eye or your glasses.
Another interesting phenomenon, if you look at an old-fashioned stove with identical knobs on the front and look at them normally, they are in 3D with our eyes, and if you free view them, they go flat against the surface of the thing. Strange.
Well, these are all optical illusions. We are fooling our perception in seeing this depth. Well, thank you, Gary. It's great to see you. I hope to see you back here. If you would like to share some new stereo photos, or if you find any in your archive you'd like to share, go ahead and send them along. We will show up to 4 photos per meeting. The first meeting of the month, which is this meeting, is our open category, anything goes. And then our second monthly meeting, which is the following Tuesday, is usually a special topic. Next week's special topic is architecture. And speaking to everyone, I've already received some entries for next week. It's not too late to submit for next week. Please get those to me no later than next Sunday, the 8th. Is that what it is, I think? Yes. That gives me Monday night to put together the slideshow, and then Tuesday to present it. Unfortunately, I'm stuck in an office all day Monday and Tuesday, so I need a day just to put all this together. But thank you, Gary. I look forward to seeing more of you, I hope, and seeing more of your stereo photography.
The first Tuesday of the month usually is the Oakland Magic Circle, So there's a conflict. Although because of the debates and holiday and everything, it's a mess. I mean,
Yeah.
the next
Yeah.
2 or 3 months, they're all over the place. So
That's fine. We'll still be here. And incidentally, if you miss a meeting and want to view the photos, as I said earlier, we do record them on and post them on YouTube for a couple weeks. It's the slideshow and our discussion. The Zoom part is not on YouTube, but the photos, I think, are what we all really want to see, not necessarily my face. Thank you, Gary. That is our selection, but we're not done yet. I want to spend just a few minutes for those who can. We do take a poll to determine not the winners and the losers, but we are curious to see which ones had the best reaction. This poll is accessible on the web. If you're using a smartphone or a tablet, you can access it with the QR code there. Or if you have a web browser that you're able to go to, the link to the poll is there also, strawpoll.com/GGSS. What will happen is I'm going to go through the slideshow again. I'll just spend a few moments on each slide so that we can refamiliarize ourselves with them. And I'll state the name of the title of the image. And you can make your selection during or after the slideshow. If you can participate, please do. The more people who participate, the better the results. So let me set this up myself, because I haven't voted yet.
And if you want to know about the Exploratorium show, look in the chat. There's links in there.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Gary. That's right. I wanted to mention that. So do check the chat. Gary did put some information about this this exhibition at the by Willie Cole at the Exploratorium. I did glance at the website. It does look like it would be a great subject for stereo. And I would love to see some photos of it. Okay, I'm going to cycle through the slideshow again, reading the titles, and you can make your selection if you're able at any time. Starting with couple. Photographer. Carmet Beach, number 52. Carmet Beach, black and white. Parade Bike Share. A pair of posters seem to interact in a storefront. Forest mural in the front yard of a house, or maybe a school. Golden Gate Bridge mural at a home entrance. View up Solano Avenue at a real estate office. Novice monk Angkor Wat. Recycled sex. Roof dragon. Warehouse mural. Munich musicians. Munich snacks for sale. Salzburg Lock Watcher. Viennese Equestrians. And From Cradle to Grave. Does anyone need me to go through those again?
From Cradle to Grave does not seem to be included in the.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Thank you, Bob. Let me fix that. Give me just one moment.
We're going to have to reload this, or will it update?
Probably have to reload it, but let's
Yeah,
see.
I
I'll let
think
you
so.
know as soon as I've added it. And this will just take me a moment. Thanks for calling that out. I have added it. If you don't see it, you'll need to reload your browser.
Okay, I'm going to need to reload. Okay, let's see. Can you put that
You need the link?
code again up?
Here, I'll put, yes, definitely.
Thank you.
There you go.
Oh, perfect.
And we'll give this another 60 or 90 seconds or so to give everyone a chance. No hurry. Would anyone like to see any of these photos again or see the whole slideshow? All right, let's just spend a few moments and make our selections. Please select your 3 favorites. All right, we'll give it another 30 seconds or so. Okay, does anyone need more time? Let me share the results. There's no prize money or ribbons or trophies, but Steve, I think your Munich snacks for sale is a clear leader here. Bob, Novice Monk, Angkor Wat, no surprise. And we have several ties for what we will call third. It looks like, Bob, yours were very well received. And thank you for selecting my Carmet Beach black and white. I'm very fond of that. You'll be seeing a lot more of those in the coming months. All right, that concludes our meeting for the evening. I hope to see everyone here on Zoom twice next week. I realize that's asking a lot. Next week's regular meeting might be a little sparsely attended because of the presidential debate, but I'm going to still be here. And we do have some fantastic photos to see. I also hope to see you on Thursday, the 12th, where we will have Jack Musako's retrospective. It's going to be a very entertaining slideshow. He was a very creative, kind of a demented guy, and he did some pretty bizarre stuff. and I hope to see you there. I'll be sending out invitations for both. Before we call it a night, does anyone have anything they would like to close with? Any announcements? Any thoughts?
Just wanted to ask, does anybody know what time the debate is?
In California, good question.
I mean, we might be able to watch the East Coast feed.
Oh, good point.
Let's see if I can find out for you.
What time is the presidential debate?
Sounds like Bob's on it.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Well, I'll figure it out.
yeah.
Okay.
Not bringing
I
up.
see 9 p.m. Eastern, so I think that would be 6 p.m. our
Yeah.
time.
6 p.m. here, precisely, yeah.
So it might finish. I mean, I guess it's an hour, or maybe it's longer than that. I don't know.
Well,
All right. Well,
I'm not going to make anyone choose.
I'll watch the first hour, and then I'll record the rest of it.
That's fine. If you would like to come to this meeting late, that's fine. All are welcome anytime.
Thanks.
All right.
I have to leave. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening. Fantastic photos tonight. I had a great time, and I'll see everyone next week.
Thanks
Good
for
night,
all the
all.
suggestions.
Thank you.